Oh my gosh, you're here!
Welcome to My Chatbot Life, where chatbot marketers share high converting strategies in this new conversational marketplace. Each week, MKJ introduces you to bot builders who are just like you, a little techie, a little markety, and a whole lot of geeky. Buckle up as Chatbot Mom enjoys another journey into My Chatbot Life.
All right, bot buddies, welcome to the conversation. I can't wait to chat with Rupert Samuel. Now, okay, hang on. I'm going to go through a couple of letters here and navigate this whole thing of what he does and who he is, because he does some really cool things. He is the co-founder of A1 and Walletly, but he is the CMO of A1 and the CEO of Walletly. And I got to chat with him recently and he just blew my mind. So I can't wait to chat with him for you all and share what's going on in this guy's head, because let me tell you, I kind of have to keep myself focused when he talks. It's crazy amazing. Hey, Rupert, how you doing?
Yeah, well, good. Thank you, Mary. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. It's a gorgeous day. It's in the fall. I love this weather. I cannot, definitely, I'm not saying anything bad about fall. It's a fantastic day. How's it up there where you are?
Awful weather.
Awful.
This is awful weather. It's England. We don't get good weather here.
Don't. What is up with that? It rains all the time.
Yeah, I think it goes along with all the miserable British here.
Yeah, I know some that are nice, some that are happy. Wow. Well, welcome to the show. I very much am excited to chat with you. Kind of tell us, I know you've been in the bot world for a while. Tell us what you were doing as a job for pay to make money before you got into chatbots and chat marketing and Messenger and all that good stuff.
I've never had a job. Like I've never worked for someone else since forever. I've always worked myself since
what were you, so what was your business before you got into chat?
Between the ages of like 17, 18 till maybe 24 or something, you could say, I was predominantly based in retail. So I owned my first shop when I was about 18, and then moved on to having a fair few amount of shops, and then started looking to importing our stock so we didn't have to purchase it from locally sourced wholesalers, and then started supplying other stores across the UK. So it's kind of retail, but also import, export, wholesale effectively. And then kind of took that stock that we utilized for shops and supplying other shops and started moving it into e-com. Then started doing pretty well, and most of the people that we supplied to our products to stores started recognizing we're doing pretty well with that. So got asked to do ads work and website work and agency styled stuff. Went pretty well, and then started realizing chatbots is going to be something pretty big. Going back about, I feel like it almost feels like 3 years or 2.5 years ago now, maybe. Yeah. And started seeing the early signs for it. I always remember, I think it's called Message Hero. It was like one of the first things I saw going back. I must be talking 3 years ago now. Yeah. And then started realizing that we need to, I would like to, in the way that I think, based off of product and supply and demand and wholesale and import, export, and my kind of terminology, that being the agency isn't the position that I'd like to position myself, and it's more the supplier of, SaaS software to be able to make a better campaign for the type of clients I usually deal with, which is, locally based clients, effectively, people that have foot traffic coming through their store.
Wow. And then you started building a platform, being a supplier for them to use chat. Is that right?
Well, started building chatbot templates that would work pretty well. There's one called the loyalty card bot, and ManyChat gave me, like, they did their template competition, so I came second in one of their categories for that template. And then realizing that even with those templates, that there's still missing bits that I find that it's not that it's ManyChat's job to go ahead and essentially fix these bits, but it's more missing parts that I feel that there's certain bits of software that could potentially help with with certain scenarios inside of my templates. So then I started not concentrating so much on the templates and more on how we can build tools around ManyChat to actually make it, even better, and kind of like put some steroids into your chatbot essentially.
Yeah, because that's definitely what you do. Absolutely what you do. Wow. So, I mean, have you always been a technical guy? I mean, that it doesn't take a lot of tech to open a store or do import export or anything like that. But that's what you're doing now. You're very much entrenched in the technology of this. Is that something you've kind of just picked up, or it's the way your brain works, or how did you go from retail
Kind
to
of.
that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe I just see things a bit differently in some ways. I mean, I talk to people and sometimes they don't quite get it, but I mean, it's like when I think of like when I'm laying out a store in a shop, like I used to have some big 2,000-3,000 square foot kind of size shops, and used to have a lot of stock and a lot of things going on. And it's kind of like when I think of like campaigns and upsells and downsells and cross sells and redemption and all the kinds of moving parts that kind of go into what we might refer to as a marketing campaign. The same stuff actually happens on the ground floor of pretty much every single shop, and that's almost like the kickoff point in some sense. It's like QR codes is a good way maybe to kind of visualize it, in the sense of like that's a kickoff point and something can happen there. But I mean, so no, I'll go back to your question a little bit better, I guess. I see things inside of marketing campaigns the exact same way that I see what I would do inside of the shop floor, as in how I would position the first initial sold item that you would see when you walk into the shop, and then the upsell, which would then be by the till, which would then also have a cross sell as you're walking over to the till, and the till would be at the back. That way you'd have to walk all the way through the shop to make sure that you go through the funnel, to then make sure that you actually acquire everything to know about every kind of purchase item that you could purchase. And at every point inside of the store, if there was a value-based offer or a bundled-based offer, it would also be positioned inside of the copy of the sales signage, essentially.
The signs, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that sounds all kind of basic stuff in some sense, but when it comes to kind of like the technological side of things and kind of putting it together, I mean, I'm not the best one out of the entire team. I genuinely have a big team around me that are working hard on what it is that we're trying to essentially do.
But you're structuring it. So I get it now. I understand. You're more of a strategist. You are figuring out how things are supposed to happen, in what order, in what way, what gets offered next, how this all works together. And then you have a team that implements that vision, implements that strategy, and tells you, yes, we can do this. No, we can't do that. Well, this isn't quite ready yet. Maybe in the next couple of months, the technology will catch up and we'll be able to do this, that, and the other thing. And then you can keep building and keep growing and keep strategizing.
The only part I'd say different to that is I do know what we can do, but it's kind of like, I know that we can build a building made of glass, but I'm not going to be the guy to build that building of glass.
Let Apple do that in New York. Yeah.
kind of. It's like, I know we can build this lovely statue, but no, I'm not the guy who's going to make the statue, but this is what we're going to make it look like. So I know it's possible. It's just sometimes the actual implementation doesn't get done personally by me, although some people do think it is done personally by me. And I have to generally remind people of going, no, I am not technically gifted in coding, essentially.
I'm not the CTO.
No, right? I'm not the CTO. There are 3 other different CTOs inside of our team for 3 different types of projects that we have. That's why I'm the CEO and CMO.
Yes. Wow. All right. So let's think about it. So you've been in business, just in general, in your own businesses, for how long?
A decade or more. Like 28 summit. So, you could kind of say since I was 18 officially in proper business terms, you might say. But I mean, even at 17 and 16 and, I was still doing some pretty crazy numbers with some interesting products. So, I mean, I think when I was 17, I was turning over maybe 15, 20 grand a month at one point with a particular fad item that I was importing from China and just selling off through eBay and Amazon. So,
wow. So out of a decade in business, That's a lot of time. That's going through a lot of trial and error, a lot of mistakes, a lot of growth, a lot of figuring out what's working, what's not working as things around you change. And yeah, doing all that. Give me an idea of, especially mindset. Okay. So 17, 16, if you got into this then and you had some success, you probably had some confidence about what you could do. But there are always, when we reach these barriers that we haven't gone through yet, there are
Mhm.
always things we have to do and say to ourselves and figure out how to get through that. So in a mindset, give me an example of a time when you've had an obstacle that you've had to overcome, and how did you do that?
The amount of different obstacles. I mean, there's so many different kinds of things that have essentially happened. I'm not exactly sure which one to pick from in some sense. I mean, if I talk about retail obstacles, I mean, I tell you the most common obstacle in all business I genuinely actually find. There's always somebody telling you no. There's always somebody doing something to stop you from doing what you want to do. And that could be a estate agent who doesn't want to let you have a shop when you want to have that shop because that shop's going to be a killer shop for you to have. Or there's going to be a guy who's telling you, no, you can't do that because we can't make the product in that way and we won't put this little colorful bit around that bit of the handbag, or we won't do it on that part of the hat, or some stupid scenario like this. And I tell you, the only way you can genuinely fix these problems, I find, is whoever's the person telling you no, is to personally go and find them and have an actual physical one-to-one conversation with them, or to at least try, if unfortunately, at least have a video call to be able to have a more one-to-one connection with that person instead of just doing it via messages, essentially.
Messages, emails. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's, unless I went into detail about certain other problems of certain other things, I always find that there's always somebody telling me, no, we can't do that. And then guess what? 2-3 weeks later, they can do that because you persist enough that they should be able to do that. And you've put a good enough case forward. It's just a little bit aggravating that I find that there's enough people out there that say no, and some people accept it, when I've had friends and other friends business friends, you could refer to it as, that have accepted somebody else saying no, and I'm like, nah, screw that, we're gonna
Just go.
we're gonna,
Yep. Just go talk to them.
we're gonna go and do something about this. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna accept it.
Have you ever had someone say no and it actually was no and they
Yeah, most
couldn't do it?
probably. I block it from my mind, but I mean, yeah, most probably.
Well, then what would you do? Would you just go find someone else to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you just
exactly.
find someone else. I mean, there's never ever one person that can ever do one particular thing. There's
Yeah.
always a workaround. There's always something you can kind of do to find someone else, and there's always somebody else supplying the exact same thing that someone else. That's the one thing the world is losing out, doesn't have enough of anymore, is
Yeah.
original stuff,
Yes.
because everybody's copying everybody to do the next
Yes.
thing, to be on the
Yes.
next hype, and nothing ever stays originally to one person for very long, I find.
Well, we are human beings. And so no matter what, someone has done something similar. It may not be on little silicon chips and, technology and robotics, but it's not a new idea to get robotics to do something for us. We
No.
see it all the time in everything we do.
Mhm.
It's not new. We just apply it in new ways because of technology allowing us to do it. But we're human beings. Human beings have pretty much done, except now going out into, colonizing another planet. Now, that we haven't done before, but it's no different from colonizing another continent, right? It really is. We can find analogies everywhere.
Pretty
But I guess what I hear you saying, and I'm telling you, the guys listening and gals listening in the audience, if you don't hear this, I need to say it again. Perseverance.
Yeah.
Keep going. Don't take no for an answer. Don't ever, ever, ever give up. That's basically what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Long story short. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Problems happen in business. People say no a lot. You know. Yeah. That's pretty much it. And I'd sum it up as that. People say no, don't accept it a lot of the time. If it's to do with your own business, I mean, there are some cases where it's potentially trying to sign on for a client or something in that kind
Yes.
of realm of business, that if they say no, don't piss them off and
Yeah.
and
Let
persevere
them go.
in that sense, but let them go. But anyway, that's pretty much where I'm coming down to.
Yeah, fantastic. I agree 100%. And a lot of times if a client says no, I let them go. I'm not going to try and continue trying to get a client who said no. In other words, I'm not going to, try and chase after anyone, because that usually doesn't end up being the best client ever because now they're expecting you to chase, and I don't want to chase anybody. So there's enough clients
It's
out there.
leverage is the way I would refer to it. They have leverage on you in the sense of what you're now going to supply them with, and it won't make for a happy business future.
And what you're willing to do. That's right. And you'll have to continue doing that. And then they're going to push that even further and see how much more they can get you to do. So don't do it.
You end up doing 10 times more work for 10 times less than what you effectively wanted to actually do it for. Anyway.
Yes. Absolutely. All right. Wow. All right. So that is, I have to tell you, Rupert, that's the first time in terms of a mindset shift that anyone has put it so well and said, just don't give up. There's always going to be a workaround. There's always a way. When someone says no, just find a way. Just go talk to them. Actually communicate. What a concept. Thank you for that. Now let's go into business. And I know since you've been in business for over a decade, there are a lot of business obstacles besides just people saying no that you've had to overcome to either keep going or keep growing or do the things you want to do. What are some of those actual business obstacles that you might have had, and how did you overcome those?
Some of the most memorable business obstacles have been when you've been asked to, if I talk about the retail side of, the longer term period of all that kind of stuff I was doing, is, let's say there's 2 or 3 I can actually think of. Let's go with if you're renting the premises off someone, so let's say the warehouse, and unfortunately you have let's say about 10 containers worth of stuff, which is quite large. I'm not sure if anyone quite realized how big the containers are, but 10 containers worth of stock there, and unfortunately you've got to move warehouse and find somewhere else to go and make sure it hits your budget of where you've got to move to, and then you've got to industrially move 10 containers worth of stock into a new place and make sure that the new place can take it all prior to actually even getting there, because guess what, if it doesn't fit the day that you're moving over there, now you've got another problem that you've got to find somewhere to put somewhere else. The fix to that, genuinely, again, don't take no for an answer when it comes to dealing with estate agents essentially, because they will try and wind you up as much as anyone else, I think. Another problem, let's say you're buying some stock from China, and the stock gets here and it's not what it's meant to be, and you've already sold some of it to someone else, and it's not going to be what they want, and now you've got to try and work out how you're going to have to deal with that scenario. My fix for it, pretty simple. You just either have to say to them, do you want a refund or not, or would you like a discount on the stock, and move on from there, and hopefully they might repurchase from their orderings to continue on with what it is you're doing. Some of the other worst problems, and there's not usually a bit of a solution for this one, to be honest with you, is in the realm of wholesale and retail. If people don't pay their bills and their business goes under, and they're liquidated, and you just have to be careful with who you give credit to. To essentially,
that's a tough one.
Yeah, that is a pretty tough one, because there has been some scenarios where we've been supplying. Actually, I've got an interesting product if you want to see it. It's just underneath my desk down here. Something I pulled out of the warehouse the other day. Something from about 5 years ago. It was about 70,000. About I don't know about the dollar ratio back then and now or something, but you could call it anything between, let's say, $80,000 and $100,000 in was owed to us for a product that we were supplying them, that was supplying to a multi-chain store across the UK. And at one point we almost thought they weren't going to pay. Luckily they did, but it does put things pretty much to the edge sometimes if somebody doesn't end up paying you for what they're going to pay you for, which I was going to do a video about this just for some people, because some people asked me about it, but this was funny enough what the item was.
I remember you talking about that. Yes.
Yeah, I told you about it a little while ago. I was like, I'm going
Yes.
to do a video about it. I'm going to go and get some from the warehouse to show people. But it's just rubber bands that you knit with each other. Made little bracelets and crap out of.
Yeah.
Ended up selling like nearly 500 million of these little rubber bands to kids in the bloody UK.
And so yes, so here's another one I got to tell you, bot buddies out there listening. It does happen where we get people who promise they're going to do something. We have contracts signed, we have deposits put, we have all those things. We've tried everything we possibly can to protect ourselves, and it does happen that that doesn't work, and things go backwards, and people do go bankrupt, and they have to liquidate things, and we don't get paid. Or as in the case with me in the service business, I had a client do a chargeback. He had an employee that handled our relationship and signed the contract on his behalf, and we communicated with him, and then that employee left. And the client came back and went, well, you didn't do the work, didn't say a word to me. I was messaging, hey, what's going on? We're doing this, we need this, blah, blah, blah. And just all of a sudden got a charge back for a couple $1,000s. Now that's not 100,000, definitely. But when that just comes out of your bank account and you're waiting to pay payroll,
Yeah.
that's not good. But then you have to go and you have to, I don't care if he says I didn't do the work. Of course I did the work, and I have the contract to prove it. I have the stats to prove it. I have the Zapier account that shows all of the zaps that I promised to do for him and deliver the data. I have all of that. And you have to fight for that. You have to go and say, no, we did do this, and do as much proof as you possibly can. And of course, we're talking months later. This won't be something that gets settled immediately. Months later.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I just wrote that money off. But when we were at the ManyChat conference, the conversations conference, I actually saw this person, said hi to him. Hello, how you doing? And the next day got the decision that I had won the judgment, and they put the money back into my account. That would not have happened if I didn't have an agreement signed and all of the data to back it up. So yeah, sometimes things go bad. Sometimes you win them. Sometimes you lose them. We don't always know what it's going to be. But man, talk about, again, a mindset. Look, when you see that, when I was being faced with that, my initial response was emotional. I was like, bleepity bleep, bleepity bleep this guy. I mean, I was just like not happy. But you really do just need to, hey, it's business, chill, logic.
You can't focus on it. I tell you that, like if you think about all the thousands of pounds that or dollars that you might have outstanding in accounts, and it's just because somebody happens to not pay you, even if it was a large account or a small account, whatever, you genuinely can't focus on it. I mean, there's certain procedures you put in place to then go and get the money, or you even try and contact them again personally. Don't take no for an answer, to get in touch with them and try and put a small repayment program in place for that, essentially. Maybe more personal than more B2B style. And if you focus on all of that kind of stuff, you're never actually going to progress in the business.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you want to go.
Exactly. Yeah, but even though, so what I'm hearing, and I agree 100% again, and I have had to learn this lesson the hard way. When we went through the recession, 2008, 2009, 2007, all that time frame, it was hell. I was in business. I was online in retail, and it was not pretty. And I definitely focused on that. I definitely identified with the decreasing sales and felt emotionally attached to that, and like it was saying something about me. And I have learned that because of that. I have learned to take that emotion out and realize I am not my business, right? I am not my business. It's a business.
No,
I am a different person.
One of the nice things has been, let's say, a small, medium-sized business as well, is that you're able to actually move kind of quick. So like a kind of problem scenario kind of thing I had going on, we had at one point, over 5 or 6 years, I had about 20 different stores that we opened and closed, and different locations. We did pop-up stores and also physical, 5-year long standing shops. And at one point we had I think it was 4 or 6 full-time stores And I mean, the staff bill was huge, the tax bill, huge, rent bill, rates bill, all that kind of stuff was just stacking up. And long story short, recession and all the kind of way you're thinking about it, I mean, we just weren't taking as much money going through the tills.
Yeah.
And, you know, no matter how many different scenarios of ways you try to think about it, as in being like, let's put our products cheaper, try and sell twice as much more, because that's our net profit coming in. Unfortunately, it just wouldn't happen. And you just kind of had to say, well, we just said to ourselves, screw this. We're making more money on the wholesale, supplying more shops and letting them do the hard work in some sense.
Yes.
So let's just close everything down. Really sorry, everyone, you lost your job, but you know, this is business. And here's your notice of 4 months or so. And you're going to have to move on, because otherwise the whole business will be gone and we can't supply any shops in the future. There'll be no stock for anybody, anything, and the whole thing will get liquidated. And, you know, we would end up having to owe somebody in the same situation of what we were talking about previously.
That's right. Yeah. So, and that's exactly how it works. You have to make those decisions, and you have to do it as, I mean, you obviously care about people and all those good things, but you need to make those decisions as logical as you possibly can, not emotionally. And you will get further when you do that, when you separate out that emotion and actually look at it as a business and logical. You won't take and do work for free. You won't take and discount your work completely and devalue yourself. When you look at it logically like that, and not emotionally and feeling desperate and all those things, because that's what desperation is. It's an emotion. Then you will go farther and you will grow your business. So yeah, wow. Even the business issues are all mindset. They really are. All right. So here, I know you are working on so many amazing things, and I know you have a secret weapon for success. You do. What's your secret weapon?
My secret weapon pretty much at the moment would be Walletly, and what I'm doing there for retailers, and pretty much what we've been talking about right now. And what Walletly will do for all the retailers out there. You know, Walletly is a platform, pretty much kind of like ManyChat in some ways, or MailChimp or something upon that nature. But with a difference in the sense of that we concentrate solely on the production of what I would best be described as passes that get delivered into consumers' wallets. But I also like to describe it as what you should be delivering with your chatbot. And in the scenarios of where you would be giving things such as loyalty cards and coupons and membership passes and event tickets and things on this kind of nature, it for when those actual physical people turn up to that physical location, it's been delivered through something along the lines of ManyChat. You have got 100% security in knowing that you are collecting all the correct data that you are looking for, as what a retailer would want to know about. So that'll be your client most probably. And also you've got all the comfortability as a marketer to have all the technical sides of what you're going to be looking for to make your campaigns go so much further than just the more basic interior stuff that you find inside of ManyChat, essentially. So that is the secret, is Walletly, and that is what we're working on primarily to actually make all the shops that, you know, it's where my history comes from. My dad used to have about 60, 70 of them, and it's where I pretty much focus a lot of my brain power, I guess, into how can we make these stores and all these stores, these, you know, local based businesses with physical traffic coming through, have so much more of a better connection to the digital world effectively.
Wow. And so here's another thing that we talk about a lot on this show, and that I talk about a lot with any bot builder who's going, you know, what should I focus on? What should I, you know, what should I niche down or niche down or whatever you want to call it? And you just basically showed that you have created some pretty incredible products because of what you know. It comes from what you know. We really, all we have to start with is what we know.
What I've experienced.
Yeah.
Like,
why would you switch to something new when you have a decade of experience in this industry?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't concentrate primarily on things like the Shopify and the e-com world and, you know, webinars and all that kind of scenario of stuff. I mean, I leave that to people who have been cracking that whip for longer than me. I know of, I know of it and all that kind of stuff, but I can tell you all the different types of scenarios that you're going to land yourself into if you're opening a cafe, or if you're opening a restaurant, or if you're opening, a bag shop, or a men's clothing store, or things upon that. And the best thing about having a good connection to the digital realm is, how are we going to connect in a seamless manner these two worlds effectively? And that's between ManyChat and Walletly, and another secret, I guess, another secret being A1 and A1 Club and A1 Business Platform, but we'll save that for another day, I guess.
Wow.
Is I want to make that be the best it possibly can be. To be honest, that is what I focus on.
Yeah. Yeah. And so here's the deal, guys. If you are looking to enter the bot world and build bots or build marketing funnels, of course, my company called Messenger Funnels. It's not just for Facebook Messenger. It is the messenger of my clients' communication. And it goes to SMS, it goes to email, it goes to Facebook Messenger. It'll go to Instagram when that opens. It'll go to a platform that I'm consulting with that is completely open app. It is not tied to any specific platform or any specific app. So it's the communication. So if you're looking to build these things for local businesses, retail world, you gotta talk to Rupert. You've got to go see what Walletly's about, because obviously loyalties, coupons, all kinds of different things that these retailers that are important to them to get people back in the store. That actually is foot traffic dependent. It's not a Shopify store. It's foot traffic, it's community. And it is really where life is going back to. Yes, we have online. Yes, even these stores might be able to sell online, but this is all community based. It's all relationship based. It's based on the brand and the relationship people have with the brand. So if you're doing that, you got a secret weapon. You got to go check out Walletly. Definitely. All right. Thank you for that. Every time I talk to you, I'm just having a blast. I just really love being able to do this. And especially when we talk about technical stuff, we'll have to save that for the next time. I definitely want to bring you back and have you go through a few things with us and screen share and show us what you're working on. So let's talk about in the future, way in the future, since I believe we're all going to live to about 130, maybe 150 years old, who knows? As long as my joints hold out, I think it'll be great. What you're looking back on your life and someone's going to write your biography of Rupert's life. What is the title of that book?
Did it. Just did it.
Did it. Did it. Yeah. It is who knows what. What's it?
Sorry?
What is the it?
Just did it. Just do it. Just do what it is. Just do what you got to do. I mean, that's like what I mean by like, don't take no as really as a response. I mean, just, I've did it. I've done it. I don't know. Maybe English might say a little bit different.
No, totally. I get it.
Not correct grammar. So if someone says, you done that, I did it.
Yep. And who's going to write that book for you?
My dad.
Your dad's going to write it. So he's going to live to at least 170, right? If you're going to live to 150.
Yeah, he says that. He says he's from another world, actually. Like, one of his going dad jokes is he's from Xylon or some nonsense like that. And, he says he's never going to die and he's going to haunt me for the rest of his life or something like this. Which, whatever.
So then he can write that book. Yes. And what would be the quote that you think your dad would say that you lived your life by?
When you have a word in your head and all of a sudden it just pops out your head.
It just disappears. Yes.
Principles make the man. That was it.
Principles make the man.
Yeah, pretty much. I believe in principles pretty much, even if things go wrong or right. Just gotta go back.
Whether anyone's watching or not, you do what you need to do. You do what's right.
You got to be right by others as much as you can and keep your principles. And that's pretty much like something you got to kind of take in what other people do, keep your principles. I don't know. It's every person, not every man, every person has their own principles and how they like to hold themselves up. But I mean, ultimately, you've got to have some sort of rules that I think that you might need to keep yourself by. And those are the principles of who make what you are and what you are going to be as a person, essentially.
Amen. All right. That I can't say it any better. I'm just going to say thank you for joining me. I'm so happy we finally were able to find a time when we can chat and bring some of the incredible experience you've had in such a short time, and bring that to the wonderful community who are using chatbots and this kind of marketing. And just thank you. I'm so glad you were able to join me.
Thank you for having me. It's been nice to finally get to do this after a while.
Thanks for listening to the My Chatbot Life podcast. To watch this video chat, visit mychatbotlife.com and get all the rocket boosters you need for your own chatbot success.